Hi, my name is Ethan. I'm 15 years old and I live in a small, quiet town surrounded by beautiful hills. Life here is peaceful, but for a long time I felt like something was missing. I went to school, spent time with friends, and helped my parents at home. But I didn't have anything that truly excited me. I often felt like my days were routine, and I wondered if there was something out there that could spark a sense of passion in me. Little did I know that spark would come from an unexpected discovery one summer afternoon. It all started when I was helping my dad clean the attic. The attic was full of dusty boxes, old furniture, and forgotten memories. As I rummaged through a pile of things, I noticed a small, worn-out leather case tucked away in a corner. Curious, I opened it and found an old film camera. It looked like it hadn't been used in years. I held it up and called out, "Dad, does this still work?" He walked over, smiled, and said it might. "That used to be my favorite camera. Why don't you give it a try?" His words ignited a flicker of excitement in me. The next day, I saved up my pocket money to buy a roll of film from the local store. With the camera in hand, I set out to explore my town. I began by taking pictures of the flowers in our garden, the clouds drifting in the sky, and even our family cat lazily basking in the sunlight. Everything seemed so simple, yet so full of life when viewed through the lens. I didn't know much about photography, but it felt magical. Capturing these little moments gave me a sense of purpose I hadn't felt before. When I finished the roll of film, I took it to a small photo shop in town to get it developed. I was nervous, yet excited to see the results. A few days later, when I picked up the photos, I was overwhelmed with joy. They weren't perfect. Some were blurry and others had poor lighting, but they were mine. Every photo felt like a little piece of my heart captured on paper. From that day forward, the camera became my constant companion. Through its lens, the world seemed different, more vibrant, more alive. Photography had found me, and I couldn't wait to see where it would take me next. As my interest in photography grew, I realized I needed to learn more about it. I began spending hours online watching tutorials and reading articles about cameras, lighting, and in composition. At first, all the technical terms aperture, shutter speed, ISO felt overwhelming. But instead of getting discouraged, I reminded myself why I had started to capture the beauty I saw around me. Slowly, I began to understand the basics, and each new piece of knowledge felt like unlocking a hidden door to a world I had never noticed before. One weekend, I decided to wake up early and explore the nearby hills with my camera. The morning air was crisp and the sun was just beginning to rise as the golden light poured over the landscape. I felt a sense of calm and inspiration. I started taking pictures of the dew on the grass, the mist hanging over the hills, and the soft glow of sunlight breaking through the trees. For the first time, I wasn't just taking random pictures, I was trying to tell a story through my lens. Back at home, I developed the photos and showed them to my dad. He looked through each one carefully and I could see the pride in his eyes. Then he said, "These are beautiful. You have a natural talent." Hearing those words filled me with confidence. It wasn't just a hobby anymore. It was becoming a part of who I was. But it wasn't always easy. There were days when my pictures didn't turn out the way I had hoped. Sometimes the lighting was off or the composition felt awkward. Other times, I simply couldn't capture what I wanted to convey. I remember one particular evening when I tried to photograph a flock of birds flying against a sunset sky. No matter how many shots I took, none of them captured the moment the way I saw it in my mind. Frustrated, I almost gave up. That night I lay awake thinking about those photos. Instead of feeling defeated, I realized something important. Photography wasn't about perfection. It was about learning, experimenting, and seeing the world differently. I promised myself I wouldn't let mistakes stop me. They were part of the journey, and with every failed attempt, I was growing. As time went on, photography became more than just a personal passion. It turned into a way for me to connect with others. I began sharing my photos with friends and family. At first I was nervous. What if they didn't like them? What if they pointed out all the flaws I already saw in my work? But to my surprise, their reactions were overwhelmingly positive. My mom loved the picture I took of our garden after a rainy day, and my younger sister asked me to teach her how to take pictures with her phone. One day during a school project, my teacher asked us to present something that represented who we were. While most of my classmates brought in objects like books, trophies, or drawings, I decided to create a slideshow of my favorite photos. I carefully selected each one images of sunsets, flowers, and even candid moments with my family. As I stood in front of the class and clicked through the slides, I noticed how my classmates reacted. Some smiled, others gasped, and a few even asked questions about how I captured certain shots. After my presentation, my teacher approached me with a kind smile. "Ethan," she said, "you have a real gift for seeing beauty in the everyday. Have you thought about entering your photos in a competition?" Her words stayed with me. A competition, I had never considered it. Photography had always been something personal, something just for me. But the idea of sharing my work with a larger audience excited me. I went home that evening and searched online for local photography contests. I found one for young photographers with the theme Simple Moments. It felt perfect for me. I selected 3 of my favorite photos: a close-up of a butterfly on a flower, a sunrise over the hills, and a candid shot of my sister playing with her puppy. After submitting them, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. What if they weren't good enough? Weeks later, I received an email. One of my photos, the sunrise over the hills, had won second place. I couldn't believe it. That moment showed me that my hobby wasn't just something I enjoyed. It was something I could share with the world, inspiring others to see the beauty in the small things. Winning that photography competition was a turning point in my life. It wasn't about the prize or recognition, it was about what the experience taught me. Photography wasn't just my favorite hobby anymore. It had become a part of who I was. It taught me patience, creativity, and most importantly, the ability to see beauty in the everyday moments that often go unnoticed. After the competition, I began to explore new themes and techniques. I experimented with nighttime photography, capturing the stars and moonlit landscapes. I also started taking portraits of people in telling their stories through my lens. Each new challenge pushed me to grow, and every photograph became a reflection of my perspective on the world. One day I organized a small photo exhibition at our community center. I displayed some of my favorite shots, from the butterfly on a flower to the sunrise over the hills. To my surprise, people from all over town came to see my work. They shared how my photos made them feel peaceful, inspired, or simply reminded of the beauty around them. Hearing their words filled me with a sense of fulfillment I had never felt before. Through photography, I learned that hobbies are more than just a way to pass time. They're a way to express yourself, to connect with others, and to find meaning in life. What started as a random discovery in the attic had transformed into something that brought me joy, purpose, and a deeper understanding of myself and the world. If you're looking for a hobby that excites you or gives your life more meaning, don't hesitate to explore. Whether it's photography, painting, writing, or something else entirely, find what makes your heart sing. And remember, it's okay to start small and make mistakes along the way. If Ethan's story inspired you, why not pick up your camera or try something new today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What's your favorite hobby? How did it change your life? Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed Ethan's journey. Share it with friends who might be looking for inspiration. Subscribe for more motivational stories and tips to help you discover your passion.